So, as I said in the last episode, Shameless put out 2 films on the same day, and in this video we're looking at the second one that they put out. If you check on the channel, if you missed the one that went out on Tuesday, should just be on there for contraband. But this episode we are looking at spine number 30, Oasis of Fear, also known as A Perfect Place to Kill and Dirty Pictures. This is a 1971 Italian Giallo film directed by Umberto Lenzi, who's a name who I'm sure you'll have heard of on this channel a few times. We've covered a few of his films, such as Cannibal Ferox, Deep River Savages, and Eaten Alive as well. The film stars Irene Pappas, who was in Zorba the Greek, Ray Lovelock, who was in Fiddler on the Roof and Almost Human, the latter of which we've covered already on this channel, and Ornella Muti in a very early role, and she later went on to work with people like Woody Allen, Asia Argento, Peter Greenaway. So we get a cast of people who've actually done some stuff again, which is nice to see. It's nice to see. I know nothing about this film. I'd never even heard of it until Shameless announced it, so I have no idea what I'm going to be getting into, but judging by what I've read on the back of this, it sounds like it's going to be pretty horny. Let's take a look, shall we?
She's just expressing youth's innate rebellion against authority figures in general, and...
You be silent!
And Finks in particular. Dick Butler, at your service. Accomplished housebreaker, bank robber, safecracker, second-story man, cat burglar, pickpocket, and rapist.
And you remember, I'm only half English, from the waist up.
The plot follows a hippie couple who sell porn and self-nudes to try and fund their Italian trip. But the cops are onto them and they're not a fan of what they're doing. So the couple decide to hide out in a secluded house that just so happens to be home to an older woman with a nervous disposition. So the couple toy with this woman and party in a house. But this woman might not just be the person that they thought she was. Honestly, I didn't really care for this film. I didn't really like it. The plot isn't terrible. The plot could work. I just feel like it takes far too long to tell such a basic story. And it felt a little bland, a little done. Felt like I'd seen this sort of thing done way better elsewhere. And yeah, it just didn't really engage me at all during it. It's only 90 minutes as well, so you'd think it'd be a bit snappier, but it still manages to feel super slow and super drawn out.
Hello? Hello?
You petty little middle-class bitch. Here, this belongs to you.
Don't take it so hard. It will grow back.
Later. Now, put the gun back where it belongs.
The acting's campy, but fine. It's fitting with the sort of sillier nature of the whole thing. But it's nothing really like amazing either, to be honest. The characters are fine as well. Although the lead two, the couple, they're basically just the exact same character with the exact same motives. Outside of a little bit of backstory that's sprinkled in here and there that never really actually plays into the main plot, that's about your lot. They are just identical, really. The gore is pretty much non-existent. There's like a little dribble of blood that's very bright red, and that's your lot. Guess it's not really the focus, but it is a Giallo, so I was hoping for a little more of that maybe. The sex, nudity and sleazy angle was pretty light as well, which is bizarre. I was really expecting a lot more from this. We get some, don't get me wrong, there's nudity in there and sex scenes and what have you. But this story sort of allows for that to not be just like completely out of place or awkward or weird. It makes sense that there would be a lot of sleazy elements to this, and they just don't really go there that often with it. There's big chunks of this film where nothing like that is happening, and like it's not like me to complain that there's not enough in these, but I think it could have had more. It felt like stuff was cut out of it. It wasn't. This is an uncut version, but it felt like stuff was missing. It's super weird. It was shot fine, it looks nice, it's bright, which is nice. A lot of these films tend to be a little too dark for their own good, but this had a lot of colour that really popped. Nice, the setting was cool. The music was nondescript, can't really tell you much about it, apart from one song that kept playing, which I did really like. And apparently it's sung by Ray Lovelock, who's one of the actors in this as well, so that's fun. Outside of that though, I really just don't have anything to say about this. It felt like it really plodded along and it just feels super stale. Yeah, there's nothing more really to say on it.
Oh my God!
That's right.
Wait! You ruined us! You ruined our show! You'll have to pay for it!
So I did what I always do with these discs and watched the first film that's presented to me on it, and that was the English dub. There was a note at the beginning that said that this is an uncut version, and every now and then in the English dub it does dip into Italian. Now there are some characters that I think just are Italian. Every time they talk there is no dubbing in English for them. But there are like chunks of the film where our two main characters just suddenly start talking in Italian, which does seem out of place. You could be watching for 50 minutes and there's like a 5-minute section where they're talking in Italian, and it feels like out of nowhere. Now I'm guessing then that these are the scenes that have been put back in. And I don't mind this sort of thing, honestly. It's not too jarring for me or anything, but I think it's worth mentioning for if you're interested in getting this sort of thing, that it will jump between subtitled and dubbed. But it's not the end of the world. I think a lot of Ray Lovelock I think speaks English anyway, but they're all dubbed over anyway in these things, so it doesn't matter. So this is a rushed remake, in a way, reimagining of another Lenzi film called Orgasmo, not to be confused with the Matt Stone and Trey Parker comedy film. Apparently he took sections of that and reworked it, and then he wanted to add an Easy Rider vibe to it, like a road trippy sort of vibe. Funnily enough, I watched Easy Rider for the first time the other week and really liked it. So I was kind of looking forward, after reading that, to seeing this, and I can kind of see a little bit of that. There's a biker gang, sure, there is a bit of a loose road trippy vibe to it. Obviously it doesn't have any gravitas like Easy Rider does. I feel like Easy Rider really has a message and really focuses in on telling it, whereas this just feels like a couple dicking about for a while, and then a Giallo appears at about an hour, and that's something else as well. So yeah, he pivoted from the road trip into a Giallo, but honestly, the Giallo stuff doesn't really kick in until like an hour into the film, really. It's such a slow crawl up to it as well. Feels super aimless, and then suddenly, oh, we're in like a basic sort of Giallo, I don't know. Lenzi went on record and said that he basically disowned the film, and he said if he could burn it, then he would. And yeah, I can kind of see why. And lastly, before we move on, I do just want to quickly mention that Ornella Muti is only 16 in this film. So every time she's nude, it's a stunt actress. Still super awkward and uncomfortable to watch when you know that, though.
Will you stop it?
Okay, for the print then for this film, I don't really have much to say about it, honestly. It's really nice. The colours pop, it's crisp, maintains its grain though, which is nice. No issues that I could spot, sounds clear, looks clear. Not a problem, really good, really good. If there's something that Shameless have been getting right recently, it is these remasters. These films have been looking pretty good. And on the disc, we start off with 4 pre-menu trailers, most of which are just for Lenzi films, which makes sense. Then we get the English dub of the film, the Italian dub of the film. We get a trailer, an original trailer for the film. We get an interview with Muti and an interview with Lenzi. And then we get something called a Wilson Brothers trivia track. I feel like I've mentioned this before on another one, but basically you play through the film and where the subtitles are pops up little trivia about the film as you're watching. Honestly, I don't know, a little lacklustre, I think, this one. There was nothing in the features that made me go, oh, that's a cool inclusion. It's fine, it's nothing special though. Okay then, time for the case. I really like the slipcover artwork. It's a very striking image. I love the colours on it. And then we get 2 reversible sleeves in the case. I really like the first one. Again, the colour usage is nice and it fits with the first one, the slipcover. Not massive on the Italian artwork, but it is always nice that it's included. All the info seems correct and the write-up is really nice. It makes it sound way more interesting and sleazy than it actually is. This has another clear case on the inside. Cheap and lazy. I really miss the yellow cases. That's their branding. It's a shame that it's disappeared. Lastly, this is officially now the lowest Shameless number I have. Really low. We have 0022. Beating out the nurse, which is crazy. Yeah, this is the lowest one that I have. Must have not been a popular release. Overall then, yeah, this didn't really work for me, I'm afraid. It's just a little too boring, a little too muddled, not enough gore, not enough flesh, just a bland, rushed job, I'd say. It feels rushed and phoned in. It's a shame, it's a shame. I was hoping for a little more from this one, honestly. I can see why Lenzi has gone on to disown it. I wouldn't recommend it, obviously, but if you are in the market or you're a collector, it's a nice presentation of this film, and yeah, it's decent. They are pricey for what they are, though, these days, I feel like, and I feel like they're cutting a lot of corners compared to the earlier releases that they put out. But, oh well. So, 2 films from Shameless on the same day, and unfortunately I didn't like either of them. I think if I was to compare the 2, I ever so slightly preferred Oasis of Fear, but that's more because I prefer a Giallo film than a Poliziesque film. Honestly, it's marginal. I found they both had the same problem, in that they were just too drawn out, too boring, and not enough of anything eye-catching or interesting, I guess. So, that's a shame. 2 duds. Wonder what they'll put out next, though. I know they've been teasing Bronx Warrior trilogy. That's never reared its head. Ratman has been floating around, the idea of that one. I don't know. Who knows? Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.